Parliament's Justice Select Committee has recommended pushing ahead with a referendum on a 4-year term for future governments. But the committee, made up of MPs across the political aisle, has agreed to strip out requirements the ACT Party had proposed that would put new checks on government power. Political correspondent Zane Small explains.
The decisions made at the Beehive affect all New Zealanders. So how do Aucklanders feel about giving politicians a 4-year term in power?
I don't think so. I think 3 is an okay time to be able to rotate between the different parliaments and that. I think 4 years might be a bit too much.
Well, there's 3 of them. Surely they could get it done in 3 years, right?
Yeah. You agree?
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit silly.
I think it'd be a good idea as long as it has checks and balances.
6 months ago, the coalition government announced a proposal to extend the parliamentary term from 3 years to 4, so that future governments could get more done. And Parliament's Justice Select Committee has now recommended pushing ahead with a referendum on it.
If the New Zealand public vote for a 4-year term, I would strongly support that. I think they'd get better government out of it.
The Justice Select Committee has made the recommendation with support from all political parties except for ACT.
ACT says that New Zealand needs a 4-year term, but not a naked 4-year term with no extra checks and balances.
Under the ACT Party's proposed law, the standard minimum term of Parliament would remain at 3 years, with an option to extend it to 4 years if the government of the day agreed to hand over control of Parliament's select committees to the opposition, in a bid to strengthen checks and balances on the Beehive.
Other countries have 4, even 5-year terms, but they also have things like written constitutions, upper houses or states and provinces, so they actually have checks and balances on the government of the day.
But the Justice Select Committee agreed to strip out ACT's clause, saying many submitters expressed concern about the concept of a variable term of Parliament, highlighting that it would cause instability, uncertainty and confusion for voters, who would not know how long they were electing their representatives for. So the committee recommended removing the proportionality requirement for select committees so that the effect of the bill would be a direct change to a 4-year term.
If David Seymour wants more checks and balances in the parliamentary process, he could lead by example and follow the checks and balances that are already there.
The ACT Party's concern, though, is that the public may view the change to a 4-year term as a self-serving move by politicians rather than a balanced reform, which could undermine confidence in future governments.
I don't believe the New Zealand public will vote in a referendum to give politicians an extra year if we don't also put an extra check on ourselves.
If you were given that opportunity, how would you vote? Would you say, no, I don't think you deserve 4 years?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I have to confess I'm ambivalent about which way it goes. I'd like to learn a lot more before that decision was made.
So it seems the public may need more convincing before giving future governments an extra year in power.
So Zane, when might this go to a referendum?
Well, it could happen as soon as next year, but the Justice Select Committee has noted that holding it in 2026 would create a, quote, very small window for a public education campaign. The government intends to confirm the exact timing of any referendum when the legislation's progress through Parliament is a bit more certain. If the referendum doesn't happen next year, then it could happen at the following 2029 election, and if the public backed the 4-year idea, then the change would apply from October 2031.
Zane Small, thanks so much for that.